Hello gainers, Ralphie here. Welcome to another installment video of Fitter Philosophy, the channel that encourages us all to think a little bit beyond our boundaries. That's a good way of putting it. I've never kind of worded it quite that way before in this channel, and I'm going to talk about sunlight in this particular chapter, in particular the effects of the sun, because they are more complex and comprehensive than we are encouraged to believe. What we are told is that when the sun is bright and out, it's fine to sunbathe, so long as you put on suntan lotion, and you can buy it. It's not cheap, it's actually quite expensive. It's designed to be. You can buy it in different factors. So you can have a low factor suntan lotion, which gives you some modest UV radiation protection, allegedly. And then you can get, well, probably talking about 10 to 12, factor 10 to 12. And you can get up to factor 50 and above, which gives you a comprehensive protection from the sun. Recently, now the reason I'm discussing this is recently I was on a business trip to the Caribbean because I'm involved in rum. Increasingly my business is about rum. And I was doing my research, and naturally I couldn't help but notice the people around me, as one does. I noticed that the indigenous local people did not appear to be using any suntan lotion or sunscreen UV inhibitor. What I did notice was that tourists who had literally stepped off a transatlantic flight within the last 24 hours were liberally applying themselves with this suntan lotion and thinking and believing that it protects them from the harsh rays of the sun, at which point they would happily lie out for several hours in the searing midday heat. What I observed was people doing too much sun, too fast, and without caution. I noticed that they were using a product under the belief, which is partially true, it's partially true, that somehow it would give them immunity from sunburn. But of course, this was not the case, because the sun was simply too bright, too harsh, and too hot. I noticed people dehydrating rapidly and not adjusting to the new environment and drinking plenty of liquids, whether it be water or coconut water or anything. I noticed in the evening people getting drunk far too quickly on far too little alcohol. Again, a sure sign of dehydration. I noticed some people falling and hurting themselves. At the same time, I'm online looking at the social narrative around suntan lotions, that we should not confuse them with screeners, like, for example, zinc ointment, which is commonly used in Australia, which gives absolute barrier protection. Suntan lotion gives partial protection, but people are not thinking this through and being sensible. If I was lying out in the sun, I'd do so first thing in the morning for half an hour, and in the late afternoon for half an hour when the sun is well down and it's not got the sting in its heat. far more practical. I was chatting to a young lady who had a fantastic tan and was not using suntan lotion because, in her opinion, and again you're seeing this in the social narrative, there are chemicals which are in suntan lotion which are not declared, which are toxic to the body. Right, that's her opinion. That's the social narrative opinion. My opinion is everything is toxic to some degree. We just need to do our own damn research and take responsibility. It's that simple. She explained to me, a lovely young lady from Canada, that in fact she used an insulin pin to inject into her belly fat small quantities of melatonin 2 peptide. Now, what the melatonin 2 peptide did was the body assimilated it because it recognized it as sort of natural and basically created melatonin pigmentation. In other words, it gave her a false tan just chemically, biologically, and then when she lay out in the sun, she didn't lie out for very long, but she didn't use suntan lotion because in fact the melatonin generated within the skin cells was providing her the additional protection that she would have and could have got from using barrier creams and suntan lotions. So she recommended this as a very credible alternative. My opinion is you cannot beat a dose of common sense. Sure, we love the sun. We want to hug the sun at times, particularly in cold countries, particularly in northern climates where we get so little of it. And my goodness, we know how debilitating it is when you have the absence of the sun due to cloud cover. We understand that. It's depressing. It's demoralizing. The sun is a living force. In the old days, it used to be worshipped, the sun god. I can understand that. And also in the old days when people were, frankly, more intelligent, people recognized that so-called inanimate objects like planets and suns and lakes and mountains, they have a spirit of their own. They have a form of sentient life force within them. And I think that's a very good way of looking at things in the modern world, so that we can make more sense and have more sensibility than we did yesterday. Thanks for watching.